Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to my channel. Hey everybody, my name is Fossey, and I'm here to tell you about my next big adventure that I'm going to be documenting right here on YouTube. And that is the Appalachian Trail. You heard me correctly. Next year, starting in April, I will be doing a flip-flop through hike of the Appalachian Trail. That's a great question. The Appalachian Trail is a national scenic trail that extends from Springer Mountain, Georgia to the top of Katahdin in Maine. It's around 2,200 miles and varies every year depending on trail closures, modifications, and reroutes. Every year, about 3,000 people attempt to thru-hike, and the completion rate has gone up to about 20%. A thru-hike is defined by someone who completes the entirety of the trail in 1 calendar year. So yes, I will be doing all 2,200 miles of the Appalachian Trail next year. I grew up on the East Coast with the Appalachian Trail as my backyard playground. Exploring those mountains has been a huge part of my life, and I've done sections of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, and Maine. And I absolutely loved every moment and every step of my experience on the Appalachian Trail. And then, thus, it has been a dream of mine to do the entire thing in one go for over a decade. And now I finally have the chance to do it. Most people, the majority of people, travel from Springer Mountain to Maine, to Katahdin in Maine, starting in the early spring, usually around March. A select few of those go south from Katahdin to Georgia. Flip-flops are people who choose to split the trail into 2 sections. Most people start in June and hike south to from Harper's Ferry, which is about the unofficial halfway, to Springer, and then flip all the way back up to Maine, and then hike back down to Harper's Ferry. I am doing something similar. My halfway point will be the Pinnacle in central Pennsylvania. So I will start in Georgia in April, and I will go to the top of the Pinnacle, which is a significant place to me and my family. Plus I'm from Pennsylvania, so it kind of made sense for that to be my halfway point. And from there, I will travel north to Maine, and I will southbound back down to Pennsylvania, where hopefully I will be met with a fanfare of my family and friends when I complete the trail. I'm choosing to do a flip-flop because I have to get off trail for a few weeks here and there next year in order to be with family and to attend an international wedding. And I really don't want to have to fight the weather when I get to Maine. That's a big deal with people who don't plan their trips appropriately, and they're getting into Maine in mid to late October, and the mountain has already closed down because of snow. So this way, I am going to allow myself plenty of time in order to be able to get off and do what I need to do, and still be able to complete the entire trail next year. Most people plan their trips down to the mile. Most, or some other people, they're fly by the seat of their pants. I'm more of the latter. I really want to experience the society and the culture of the trail without limiting myself to a set deadline. I will be stopping every 3 to 5 days in a town in order to do a food resupply, as well as take advantage of things like showers or laundry, internet to upload videos, and just other really luxury things like gorging on all-you-can-eat buffets and real beds. Every once in a while, I'm sure. As for training, I do yoga regularly, I hike regularly, and I'm actually going to be spending this winter working up at the Mount Baker Ski Resort, really working on my lower body strength while riding chairlifts all day. So gear is a huge part of doing a thru hike. I have a few things left to purchase, and I have to tweak my footwear a bit, which might change completely as I start the trail. That's one of the things that you really don't know what you're getting into until you do it. I am a seasoned backpacker. I have done long trails before and been on the trail for weeks at a time, so I've really gotten most of my gear dialed in. But that doesn't mean I don't have things to learn. I will be posting a gear video later on as I start to acquire the rest of my gear and to kind of show you what my base weight will be, as well as a video on what my food planning will be in addition to that. So that's always a good question. I've been healing a couple of injuries over the past couple of months / years that I feel pretty confident that I will not have any issues with, although I'm sure I will be very careful in making sure I maintain my physical abilities to actually do the trail. The trail is no joke, so I have to be careful that I don't have to quit because of an injury. Another difficulty that I am planning on addressing is I've been vegan for the past almost 5 years now, so I anticipate there being some logistical issues with resupplies, dealing with availability of food in town. I am choosing not to do a ton of food drops, that is mailing myself food along the trail. And as I mentioned before, that's really because I don't want to limit myself to having a set schedule in order having to get off the trail in order to get my food. So I want to make sure that I can go into town when I need food and not have to rely on being available to pick up packages from the post office during business hours. I'm also keeping in mind that nutrition is a bit lax on the trail. People eat a lot of junk food, so I'm trying to figure out what things are going to be mandatory for me, as well as how to acquire certain nutritional supplements along the trail. So all of that is being taken into consideration for this thru hike. But what about bears, Herbert? Well, if you know anything about me, I don't have a tattoo of a black bear for nothing. I've had my fair share of run-ins with bears. I've dealt with having to deal with bears. I've educated people on how to deal with bears. I am very confident in my experience with dealing with bears that I'm not really going to worry about it. So I know my plan, and I'm going to stick to that, and I'm sure I will have no problems with bears. So thank you for joining me for this intro video. There will be tons more coming over the next couple of months as I prepare for this amazing adventure. So hit the subscribe button if you want to follow my journey, and I'll check in with you guys later. Take care.